With the vacuum of national identity.
Well, hello everybody. How are we? I feel like I start every video like that, asking you how you are, but it just comes natural. I want to know how you guys are doing. Hope everybody's all right. Missed you yesterday. You missed me. I actually took Labor Day off. Didn't do anything. Actually, I was a little under the weather. I don't know what swept through the house. I was sick. My wife was sick. Two of the kids were sick. It was really weird. Just, it came on Sunday afternoon, Sunday night into Sunday morning. I was up, couldn't breathe through my nose, so I couldn't sleep. Our newborn he was the same way. He couldn't breathe through his little nose, so he was up most of the night. I don't think I actually fell asleep until about 2:30, 3 o'clock Monday morning. And I know he was up, I think, until about 4. So rough day, rough Labor Day for us, but we got through. But yeah, checking in with you guys here. Got something on my mind today that I know I've talked to a handful of people about in the industry and starting out, and that's how quickly do you want to grow your business? What steps are you taking for growth to, add and get bigger? Is it something that you're gonna blitzkrieg everything right from the rip and try to grow as big as you can, as fast as you can, or do you take a more conservative approach and step back and try to cherry pick some stuff and kind of control that growth? And I know what's worked for me over the last 3.5 years is a more sustained, controlled growth. I know, like I said, I've talked to a lot of guys that they're dead set on getting as many customers as they can right off the start and just going full bore with it. One thing I'll say with that, you gotta be careful doing something like that, because you can get too big too quickly. And if you're not set up and equipped for that, it's gonna end badly for you. I know maybe my mindset and the effort that I've put into it has not been enough for somebody in their 3rd year, but I am happy with where we're at. Was going over numbers yesterday, and we're not in the same spot that we were this year as we were last year. But I know last year I had a few more landscaping projects in the spring than I did this year. But on the flip side of it, I do have a handful of landscaping projects lined up for this fall. Plus, with the price increase in the spring, projected we're going to do a little bit more than we did last year. But definitely not going to hit that goal that I had set for this year. But again, that's kind of my own doing. We were expecting a baby in the spring, and I kind of backed off the reins a little bit to accommodate for that, because I knew we were going to be busy with a newborn at home and trying to take care of him plus the other two. So it was something where I just kind of stepped back and was like, hey, I know you guys want X, Y, and Z done. Is there any way we can push it out to the fall? Right now, it's just not in the cards to do with having a newborn at home, and most people, they understand that. But getting back to the topic of, rapid growth or sustained growth, a lot of what I tell people starting out, you really need to think about your capabilities, because there's nothing worse than getting that text or phone call from somebody you signed up that says, what's wrong? Did you take on too much this spring? And I've gotten that before, and it really makes you think, did I take on too much? Something to think about. But that's kind of what I want to go into today. Right now, we're on our way to next property. It's another toasty one here, but I will check in with you guys here shortly. Alright guys, so when I say sustained growth, what do I mean? Sustained growth to me is coming into a neighborhood like this where there's 10, 12 houses, and knowing that when I'm starting out with my push mower, my secondhand backpack blower, and my little string trimmer, knowing that I'm not going to be able to take on all of them. Now, I could probably do one or two, but I'm not going to be able to hit every house in here. Maybe you can, but how much time is that going to take you? When I started in this neighborhood, I had one house, the one up on the hill. Now I've got 3. I've also got this, that, and a bunch of other nice toys that help me to get this job done. Get this neighborhood done, if you will. Now, I'm not telling you to not take on every opportunity that you can. What I'm telling you is to think about the resources you have at your disposal. Because I know that in those first year and a half, I wouldn't have been able to do all this. Not with the mowers I had, not with the resources I had. It just wouldn't have been feasible. I would have ended up losing them before I could make any money off of them. Call me crazy, but I'm not going to take on that risk. It's hot. Am I happy with the growth? Yeah, of course. But, like I said, I know at the same time that if you try to bite off more than you can chew at first, you're going to end up hurting yourself and the customer. You eat the elephant one bite at a time. You don't try to eat the whole thing all at once. And I know starting out, it's hard to turn away work when you can be making money. Believe me, there's stuff that I did the first year that I wouldn't touch now. And the only reason for that is I'm a little more established. Some of you guys starting out, if this is your first year, you're going into your second year, you're going to be taking on jobs that you don't want to, just so you can establish yourself and make that money. You'll find it easier to turn away jobs as you progress and learn a little bit more about what it takes to run the business. But first one's done. You're ready to start the second one. And then we've got one more to do right across the way here from me. I'll check with you guys when those are done. And I'm back. Sorry for the choppy video. I don't really like to record at those ones just because it's a tight neighborhood, and I don't know how they would react to somebody with a camera walking around their property or strapped to them. So I don't usually do a whole bunch of recording on those properties there. But don't take what I'm saying. I almost pulled out too far. Don't take what I'm saying as a deterrent to not take on new work. What I'm saying is, when you really look at the big picture and look at the work that is provided to you potentially, really think about it and ask yourself if you're capable of doing it with the tools you have. Real world experience. Company I worked for a number of years ago, we had the opportunity to take on, I want to say it was like 15 to 18 more properties. And it was like 20 plus grand in revenue, which on paper looked great. Anytime you can add, 5 figures to your top line, that's a great day, a great feeling. But after going out and looking at the properties, it became very apparent to me that we weren't set up from a equipment standpoint to actually be able to handle what all we needed to do with the new properties plus what we already had. And after some back and forth, unfortunately, I lost that argument. And it turned out exactly like I thought it would. We ended up getting into it with the customer over some work that may or may not have been done. I can tell you that it was done, begrudgingly, but I don't think we ever got paid the other half of what we were supposed to that year, because the customer didn't think that it was actually done. And our resources were stretched extremely thin trying to take on these 15 additional properties. And they were big. Like I said, we didn't have the equipment to actually do them properly, so we were kind of all hands on deck, piecing together what we could to make it work, but it just didn't work out. And I saw that writing on the wall before it even happened, and unfortunately it did come to fruition that we lost it, and it made the entire company look bad. And I don't want that for you guys. Now, maybe you're somebody who's got, a trailer full of mowers, you got a couple buddies that can help you, and you're ready to tackle the world. Great, by all means do it, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the guys that are like me, who are doing it on the side right now to try to establish something greater for the future. Something that you can take over as a full-time job. If you're working 2 jobs like I am and trying to do this nights and weekends, taking on a $10,000 landscape install is probably not the best idea. Taking on a big box store, a chain of them, and trying to mow and landscape, probably not the best idea, because you're going to be chasing your tail trying to get that stuff done. So don't think I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to that finite group that's out there busting it day in and day out trying to get stuff done and get yourself established. I just want to look out for you guys. It's tough out here when the money's right there in your face and you're looking at it and you're going, dang man, I could really go for that additional $15,000 up front. I can do that. Well, 15 grand's only going to get you 1 new mower. And if you don't have the time to dedicate and devote to that job, that property, that person, it might end bad for you. Hang on, I gotta eat gas. And I'm back. Didn't take too long. But if you guys see anybody running in town with all my money, please stop them, because every time I go to the gas station, I feel like I'm getting robbed. It is insane how much it costs to fill these things up, plus this truck. But that's besides the point of today. I don't want you to think that I'm on here trying to preach a bunch of doom and gloom to you. I'm just trying to give you the real world, what can happen if you don't step back and think about things. Like I said, I've talked to people before starting out, and the world's at their hands and they're gonna conquer everything, and they ask me what I think, and I give them the straight up honest truth like I'm trying to give you guys right now, and they look at me like I'm crazy, like, well, why would you say that? Why wouldn't you want to, you know, take on as much as you can? Because guys, if you're not set up for it, you're gonna get beat, and you're gonna get beat every time, and I don't want to see that for you. What in the world is going on here? It's hard. It's hard to hear the truth sometimes like that, but, you know, as you establish yourself and you start acquiring more assets and you can take on more jobs, then you really ramp it up. Really start to bid and quote those bigger projects, those bigger mowing jobs, the bigger landscaping jobs that might take you a couple of days. Once you get to that point and you're comfortable with it, then you start, you know, really going after that stuff. But until then, guys, keep your thoughts straight, and don't let the numbers game overrule what your brain and your gut's telling you, because you can get yourself in trouble. Now, maybe you're gonna sit here and you're watching this and you're saying I'm crazy, I'm never gonna make it, thinking small like that. That's fine. Maybe your situation is different than mine. Maybe you've got more cards in your hand than I do. Like I said, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with how the business has grown over the last 3 years. I'm happy to think about the future and have the plans in place to take this thing full time, so I don't have to build somebody else's dream for them while I'm trying to build mine. I can solely focus on what I want to do. Going for it. Pulled right out in front of that person. They're gonna be happy. But, you know, like I said, I'm happy with what I've got going on. I know you guys can be just as happy if you're doing it the slow and steady pace. I don't know. Like I said, it's just been on my mind. I've had a handful of people ask me about it in the past. I guess I've got the real world experience to put it in place for you. It's up to you to take the information that I can give you here and run with it. If you do bite off more than you can chew, just be upfront with those people and tell them that, you know, you're still working towards getting yourself going, and either you'll get it done for them or you need to refer them out to somebody else. Don't have too much pride to admit when you're wrong. I've done it before. I can remember my first season. I had somebody ask me to do a landscape tear out for them, and I thought I'd be able to do it. And the more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, I'm like, I don't have the time for it. I don't have the equipment necessary to do this for you. And I called him and told him, you know, straight up, like, hey, I thought we could do it. We're not going to be able to. Here's a couple of companies that I think would be a better fit for you, and we went our separate ways. I don't let it haunt me. I don't think about it. I know that was the right decision, not only for myself, but for that customer. And as far as I know, they're happy. Maybe they're not. Maybe that person that I referred to them did a really bad job. But either way, I'm gonna wrap it up here because I've got a bunch of little stuff to take care of before I run back home. So, like I said, sustained growth, it works for me. Take each step in stride. Think about what you're gonna do. Think about what your next step is. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And if you do, just be upfront and honest. Till next time, guys, don't forget, like, comment, share. If you got value from it, I hope you did. If not, share it with somebody that you don't like. Ruin their day. Till next time, guys. Thanks.